Have you ever begged Allah for something, prayed, cried, waited, and nothing happened? The silence felt unbearable. The delay felt like rejection. You wondered, Ya Allah, did you forget me? But Ibn Arabi said, every delay from Allah is a stage of preparation, not neglect. Sometimes, what you ask for is not denied. It's being refined. Allah is not punishing you by making you wait. He's perfecting you so that when the blessing arrives, you're ready to hold it. In Sufi wisdom, delay is not distance, it's design. Because what you seek must also be matured before it reaches you. And what you are waiting for is often waiting for you to become the person who can receive it. The real question is not, when will Allah give? But, who am I becoming in the waiting? Delay is divine design, not denial. The unawakened see delay as rejection. The awakened see it as refinement. Ibn Arabi said, every pause from Allah conceals preparation. When you ask and the heavens stay silent, it is not because Allah ignored you. It is because He is orchestrating something far beyond what your mind can yet perceive. The delay is not a void. It's a workshop where your patience is molded and your faith is tested into strength. If Allah gave instantly, you would mistake ease for favor and forget that true growth blooms only under pressure. Ibn Arabi wrote, the real hides his giving in the folds of waiting. The waiting purifies intention, stripping away the selfish from the sincere. It asks, do you want the gift or do you want the giver? The one who endures the silence with love will one day find. The silence was never empty. It was full of unseen mercy. Every delay is a thread in a divine pattern you cannot yet read. You see only fragments, missed chances, unanswered prayers, closed doors, while Allah sees the entire design. The Sufi learns to trust the weaver more than the weave. Ibn Arabi said, nothing is postponed except what must first be prepared. The delay is not a denial, it's alignment between divine timing and human readiness. There are seasons in the unseen, just as there are in the world. The seed that demands fruit too soon dies before its roots deepen. So does the soul that rushes divine timing. Ibn Arabi taught, he who hurries what has not ripened eats bitterness. The waiting season humbles the ego and ripens gratitude. What feels like divine distance is actually divine depth being formed within you. When Allah delays, He's not withholding, He's protecting. Sometimes what you ask for too soon could destroy you if granted now. Ibn Arabi wrote, delay is mercy disguised as disappointment. You may crave the door to open, but He knows the wolves outside. Every unanswered prayer is a shield you don't yet see, guarding your soul until you're strong enough to step through safely. Delay is also a mirror. It reveals your heart. The impatient see Allah as distant. The patient see Him as working in silence. Ibn Arabi said, the true lover waits not for the gift, but for the meeting. When your love for Allah outweighs your attachment to outcomes, the delay ceases to hurt. You begin to find peace, not in arrival, but in the presence that never left you. The heart that trusts in divine timing walks differently. It no longer rushes life, it flows with it. The Sufi moves like water, patient, soft, yet unstoppable. Ibn Arabi taught, the one who knows the delay knows the wisdom. Faith is not waiting without emotion, it's waiting without accusation. To believe the timing is perfect, even when you don't understand it, that is true surrender. In divine design, nothing is random. Even your longing is placed by Him to lead you back to Him. Ibn Arabi said, the waiting itself is an answer. The ache, the yearning, the patience, they're all part of the plan to cleanse your dependence on the world. What feels like divine silence is Allah teaching you to hear Him without words. Sometimes, the greatest mercy is not being given what you want, but being made ready for what's greater. Ibn Arabi wrote, the real gives not when you ask, but when you are able to receive. The delay polishes your soul, until you can handle the weight of His favor with humility. When the blessing finally comes, you no longer cling to it. You recognize it as His trust, not your triumph. So when you feel forgotten, remember, you are in the workshop of divine design. Every quiet day, every unseen test, every unreturned prayer is an instrument shaping your destiny. Ibn Arabi said, "Between asking and receiving lies transformation." The delay is not denial. It's the sacred space where the old self dissolves and the true self emerges. What you call waiting, heaven calls preparation. 2. What you seek must also ripen. Everything in creation moves by divine timing. Nothing appears before its appointed hour, not the sunrise, not the fruit, not the prayer answered. Ibn Arabi said, "The unseen has its seasons, just as the earth has its crops. What you are waiting for is not absent. It is still ripening in the garden of destiny. You cannot rush what Allah is still shaping, and what comes before maturity is often lost before it can bless." The Sufi understands that haste kills blessings. You may desire something good, but even goodness can harm when it arrives unprepared. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The real delays the gift until the receiver and the gift become worthy of each other." Your heart, your patience, your gratitude, all must be cultivated to hold what you seek. The delay is not punishment. It's a sign that the fruit is not yet sweet enough to taste. When you ask Allah for something, He begins preparing both sides, you, the seeker, and the thing sought. The answer to your dua may be growing quietly somewhere, protected by unseen hands. Ibn Arabi said, "Every request sets in motion a creation unseen to the asker." While you are learning trust, your blessing is learning alignment. The moment both are ready, they meet with perfect precision. Imagine a farmer digging up his seeds every day to check their progress. He would destroy what he planted. The same happens when we dig into destiny with impatience. Ibn Arabi wrote, "Do not disturb the soil of decree. Your prayers are planted, but they need time, warmth, and stillness to grow. The unseen roots of your answered prayer are deepening in silence. You just can't see it yet. The ripening of what you seek often happens through loss. The fruit tree must endure wind, rain, and pruning before it can bear sweetness. So too must your soul endure trial." Ibn Arabi said, "He ripens the heart with hardship so that joy will not rot it." Without struggle, you would consume blessings without gratitude. Hardship seasons the heart so that when mercy arrives, you taste its full flavor. Sometimes the delay is not because you are unready, but because the world around you is. Allah arranges the stage before He lets you enter it. Ibn Arabi taught, "The real aligns all things before the decree appears." Perhaps your path, your people, or your purpose are still being positioned. What you seek must fall into place beyond your sight, not late, but synchronized. What you call waiting is often protection from premature arrival. Many received their blessings too soon and were destroyed by them. Ibn Arabi said, "Every fruit eaten unripe brings bitterness. The same is true of success, love, and freedom. Allah delays so that what He gives will sustain, not break, you. His timing is not slow, it's surgical. He grants not by your impatience, but by your readiness." Even the prophets waited. Yusuf alayhis salam was shown his dream as a boy, but saw it fulfilled only after prison, pain, and purification. Ibn Arabi reflected, "The dream ripened as he did. The promise did not change, the dreamer did. Likewise, your vision is true, but you must grow into the version of yourself who can live it with grace. When your blessing is ready, you won't have to chase it. It will arrive as naturally as dawn follows night." Ibn Arabi wrote, "When the fruit is ripe, it falls without force. The heart that trusts divine timing stops reaching with anxiety and starts receiving with peace. You will know the right moment not because it feels easy, but because it feels aligned, effortless in its unfolding. So, be patient with your becoming and merciful with your waiting. What you seek is alive in the unseen, slowly gathering light. Ibn Arabi said, "The real never withholds, he only completes." Let your prayers mature, let your faith hold steady, because one day, when everything aligns, you'll realize the delay wasn't silence. It was the sound of your blessing ripening in the hands of the divine. Toi. Waiting is worship. Most people see waiting as an empty pause, a space between prayer and answer. But to the Sufi, waiting is an act of devotion. Ibn Arabi said, "The moment between asking and receiving is itself a form of worship. It's where the ego is silenced, where faith breathes, and where love is tested." The believer's stillness is not idleness, it is submission in motion. When Allah delays, He invites you into the purest form of remembrance, patience. Patience is not the absence of movement, but the transformation of restlessness into trust. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The patient one does not wait for time to move. He waits for his heart to align. In that alignment, every second becomes an offering, every breath an act of obedience. Waiting refines the intention behind your prayers. At first, you wait because you want something, but as time passes, you begin to want the one who listens more than the thing you asked for." Ibn Arabi said, "He delays so that you may turn your desire from the gift to the giver." True worship is born in that shift, when your love for Allah outweighs your need for outcomes. The worship of waiting is silent, unseen by others, but known in the heavens. Angels record every moment of surrender, every heartbeat that whispers, "I still trust you." Ibn Arabi wrote, "The real loves the servant who stands still while storms pass." The one who stays steadfast in the unseen proves a faith deeper than words, faith proven by endurance, not emotion. In the school of divine love, waiting is the highest test. Anyone can pray with passion when the answer is near, but only the devoted stay graceful in uncertainty. Ibn Arabi said, "The lover's measure is in his patience." Waiting strips the believer of illusions, no control, no guarantees, just surrender. And in that nakedness, the soul meets its truest form of worship. Each day of waiting is a prayer without words. The Sufi does not mark time by clocks, but by states of the heart. Ibn Arabi wrote, "Every delay that keeps you remembering Him is a gift." To wait for Allah while remembering Him is not passive, it's active remembrance. Your heart is prostrating even while your body stands still. When you wait without resentment, your heart becomes a sanctuary. The fire of desire cools into peace. Ibn Arabi said, "When the servant waits contently, the real draws near." That nearness is the true reward. What you gain in waiting is greater than what you asked for intimacy with the divine. Awareness of His constant presence. To wait well is to believe that the unseen is more real than the seen. You plant your dua like a seed, and you water it with trust, not doubt. Ibn Arabi wrote, "He who digs up his seed to check its growth will never see fruit." Faith demands stillness, the willingness to stay when your mind screams to move. That stillness becomes worship. The worship of waiting purifies the tongue. Complaints fade into quiet. The Sufi learns to say, "Alhamdulillah," even when the path remains hidden. Ibn Arabi said, "The one who praises in delay has already received." Gratitude before arrival is a sign of spiritual maturity. The believer no longer bargains with time, he worships through it. Waiting transforms loneliness into companionship. When the world moves on without you, you discover who truly remains Allah. Ibn Arabi wrote, "Delay isolates you so you may see who is with you in truth." Every unfulfilled desire pushes you closer to the one who never leaves. In waiting, the believer finds the sweetest company, the nearness of the eternal. Patience is the Sufi's prayer mat. He spreads it across every unanswered day and bows with his heart. Ibn Arabi said, "The patient does not kneel to time, he kneels to the one who owns it." When you stop fighting time, it becomes your teacher. Each moment teaches surrender. Each pause teaches humility. In waiting, the heart learns silence, and silence is where revelation lives. You begin to hear divine whispers in stillness that noise could never carry. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The one who waits in remembrance will hear the unseen speak." The soul that listens in patience receives guidance beyond language, understanding born not from words, but from awareness. Waiting breaks pride. The one who cannot control time learns the truth of servanthood. Ibn Arabi said, "Delay humbles the self so the soul may ascend." Each moment of waiting rubs away the illusion of power. You realize that what you thought was delay was actually divine mercy, dismantling your ego piece by piece until surrender feels like peace. The worship of waiting teaches that Allah's silence is not absence, it's attention. He is not ignoring you, He is preparing you. Ibn Arabi wrote, "He hides His giving to reveal your sincerity. In the unseen, your name is being mentioned, your story arranged, your blessing refined. You wait below while the heavens move above. Every tear you shed in patience is dhikr, written in liquid form." Ibn Arabi said, "The tear of waiting weighs more than the prayer of ease." That tear proves that love still burns, even when answers do not arrive. And what greater worship is there than to love Allah through uncertainty? To say, "Even if you delay, I still adore you." The Sufi learns that waiting is not a gap in life, it is life itself. Every test, every delay, every silence is part of the divine curriculum. Ibn Arabi said, "He teaches through pause what he cannot through pleasure." Waiting matures the soul faster than blessing ever could. It softens arrogance into faith and turns impatience into remembrance. When you worship through waiting, you begin to see time differently. Days no longer feel wasted, they feel woven. Ibn Arabi wrote, "Each moment of waiting is a thread in the garment of destiny." You realize that Allah is not only writing your story, He's writing you. The one who emerges from waiting is not the same one who began it. To wait for Allah is to trust that He has already written something perfect, and that your task is not to rush, but to witness. Ibn Arabi said, "The wise do not chase what is coming, they prepare to receive it." The worship of waiting is the art of preparing without anxiety, of standing ready while surrendering control. Even the angels record patience as constant remembrance. The heavens see you not as delayed, but as devoted. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The waiting heart is the closest to prostration, because true sujood is not in the body, but in the will the moment you say, 'I will not move until you decree.' That submission is worship in its highest form. So remember, waiting is not wasted time, it's sacred time. Allah delays only those He intends to elevate. Ibn Arabi said, "Every delay is a ladder. The climb may be slow, but every step purifies you. The one who endures waiting with faith doesn't lose anything. He gains everything: patience, wisdom, and nearness to the one worth waiting for." 4. Delay protects you from what you cannot yet see. Most people see delay as disappointment, but in truth, it is divine protection, wearing the cloak of patience. Ibn Arabi said, "When Allah withholds, He shields." What you call waiting is often Allah quietly pulling you away from harm unseen. The Sufi learns not to curse what is delayed, for behind every "not yet" lies a mercy too deep to measure. What you wanted might have broken you if it came when you asked. You only see the path before your feet. Allah sees the storm beyond the horizon. Ibn Arabi wrote, "He sees what you would become if He gave too soon." Every delay rewrites your steps away from unseen destruction. Sometimes, the heartbreak was a detour from devastation. The unanswered prayer that made you weep was actually the wall between you and ruin. The believer asks, "Why is it taking so long?" But the Gnostic asks, "What is being averted from me in this time?" Ibn Arabi said, "The real protects with concealment. He hides blessings until the heart is pure enough to hold them. and He hides dangers until your strength can face them. The delay is not the absence of help, it is the rearranging of circumstances so that help arrives safely. The unseen world moves with precision. Angels block paths that would destroy you, redirect hearts that would deceive you, and slow down outcomes that would poison your peace. Ibn Arabi taught, when you think nothing is happening, the unseen is in motion. What feels like silence is divine construction barriers being built in your favor, blessings being rerouted to meet you in the right time. Sometimes, Allah delays to protect you from yourself. You think you're ready, but your ego still hides within your intentions. Ibn Arabi said, He delays to remove your pride from the receiving. The moment you believe you earn the blessing, it loses its purity. So Allah waits until your surrender is sincere, until the gift will no longer feed arrogance, but gratitude. Delay is mercy disguised as frustration. You may rage against the timing, not realizing that the very thing you demand could shatter the peace you've begged for. Ibn Arabi wrote, He denies to preserve you. The believer must trust that Allah's refusal is never cruelty. It is protection from misalignment, from premature fulfillment, from desires that look like light but burn like fire. Every delay saves you from the illusion of control. You plan your life like an architect of certainty, but Allah reminds you that His blueprint alone stands. Ibn Arabi said, He shatters the plan to reveal the planner. When your timeline collapses, your faith rebuilds in truth. The protection lies not in getting what you want, but in remembering who governs destiny. You pray for love, and Allah delays it not because love is bad, but because the heart you'd attach to would fail your growth. You pray for success, and it doesn't come not because you're unworthy, but because the stage isn't ready. Ibn Arabi wrote, He protects you from the unripe, so that you may taste the eternal. The delay ensures you receive what lasts, not what lures. Delay trains perception. When you can't see protection, you learn to feel it. The absence of progress forces the soul to develop sight beyond sight. Ibn Arabi said, The eyes of patience see what haste cannot. The Sufi no longer asks for speed. He asks for clarity to see what Allah is saving him from. The longer the delay, the deeper the vision. The unseen world is alive with rearrangement. While you grieve what didn't happen, angels celebrate what didn't destroy you. Ibn Arabi wrote, The unseen rejoices when the servant is saved from his own request. Not every closed door is rejection. Some are shields raised against what your heart mistook for good. Protection often feels painful because ignorance can't recognize mercy. Delay is Allah's way of intercepting harm with subtlety. He rarely shows what was prevented, because the unseen must remain unseen for faith to grow. Ibn Arabi said, If you saw the disasters He kept from you, you would never sleep without gratitude. Your unanswered prayers have already saved you 1,000 unseen times. Each delay is a wall built with compassion, invisible but unbreakable. The divine delays are surgical, removing danger with precision. You may think you lost an opportunity, but Allah saw the poison inside its gold. Ibn Arabi wrote, He removes sweetness that hides venom. What looks desirable through human eyes may be death to your spirit. Allah protects by keeping distance between you and what glitters falsely. Delay purifies attachment. You learn to love Allah not for what He gives, but for what He guards. Ibn Arabi said, The lover trusts the beloved's withholding as much as his giving. You stop chasing promises and start cherishing protection. Even when you don't understand His methods, you begin to trust His mercy. That trust becomes your safest armor. Sometimes, protection looks like separation. A person leaves, a plan fails, a dream dissolves. Yet months later, you see why it had to. Ibn Arabi wrote, He removes what blinds you to reveal what frees you. What you lost was not punishment, it was pruning. Allah cut away what blocked your growth. The pain was surgical love, not divine neglect. To be protected through delay is to be loved deeply. Allah's care extends beyond granting. It extends to guarding. Ibn Arabi said, "The real guards his servant from both the enemy and himself." You are shielded even from desires that would undo your peace. The believer who understands this begins to thank Allah for the doors that never open. Every delay also refines vision. Once blinded by immediacy, you begin to see time as mercy. Ibn Arabi wrote, "When the servant sees the wisdom of delay, he ceases to call it delay." You stop calling waiting a test. You start calling it protection. The awareness itself becomes a shield, preventing you from future despair. Delay teaches that divine timing is not random, it is strategic compassion. The path you walk may feel slow, but it's being cleared ahead of you. Ibn Arabi said, "The real walks before the servant to remove the unseen thorns." What you think is stagnation is actually Allah paving the road, ensuring each step is safe for your destiny to pass. In truth, nothing delayed is ever lost. Every withheld blessing circles back at its appointed hour, purified and perfected. Ibn Arabi wrote, "What is kept is never gone. It is stored in the vault of mercy. When it finally reaches you, it arrives free of harm, wrapped in wisdom. What once felt denied will one day reveal itself as divine perfection in disguise. When you look back, the puzzle fits. Every delay that hurt now makes sense. Every not yet becomes a thank you." Ibn Arabi said, "The heart that sees protection in delay has awakened." The Sufi no longer asks for speed, he asks for sight, because when you see through the veil, you realize that protection was always the greater gift. So trust the delay, it is your unseen shield. Allah's silence is not neglect, it's strategy. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The real delays to save you from what you cannot yet see. What you call waiting, heaven calls guarding. What feels like emptiness is actually divine defense. Every step you think is late is perfectly on time, in the language of the unseen." 5. The wait ends when the soul surrenders. The moment you stop fighting divine timing, peace enters. Ibn Arabi said, "The delay ends not when time moves, but when the soul bows." You spend years begging for a door to open, but the real opening happens inside you when you accept that Allah owes you nothing, yet gives you everything. The wait doesn't end when the blessing arrives. It ends when resistance dies. Surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. It is the understanding that you cannot outthink the one who wrote your story. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The real gives rest to the heart that stops struggling against decree." You were not created to control destiny, only to trust it. When you release your grip, what was meant for you begins to flow effortlessly. The Sufi knows that surrender is not giving up, it's being lifted up. The ego wants to climb through effort, but the soul rises through letting go. Ibn Arabi said, "The bird of the spirit cannot fly with the chains of desire. Every demand, every why and when ties your wings tighter. When you release expectation, you rise naturally toward what was written. Surrender begins when you stop negotiating with Allah. If you give me this, I'll be grateful. If you don't, I'll be lost." That is not surrender, it is transaction. Ibn Arabi wrote, "He who trusts bargains no more." The true believer doesn't trade faith for outcomes. He anchors faith in the giver himself. When the heart says, "Even if you never give, you are still enough," the waiting loses its sting. Every soul must eventually choose between control and trust. The path of control leads to exhaustion. The path of trust leads to serenity. Ibn Arabi said, "The restless heart delays its own arrival." You think Allah is late, but it is your fear that slows the journey. The more you cling to your idea of timing, the further peace drifts away. The waiting soul often mistakes striving for faith. You keep praying, planning, forcing outcomes, but faith is not found in motion, it's found in submission. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The one who trusts walks slower, but arrives sooner." When you stop chasing what's written and start resting in who wrote it, time itself becomes your companion, not your enemy. Surrender is the art of loving Allah without agenda. To love Him not for His gifts, but for His gaze. Ibn Arabi said, "The lover finds completion not in fulfillment, but in fidelity." You wait, but your heart is no longer restless, it worships in stillness. That is the station of the mature soul. Patience without bitterness, delay without doubt, love without condition. When you truly surrender, your prayer changes. It becomes softer, humbler, truer. You stop saying, "Ya Allah, why won't you?" and start whispering, "Ya Allah," whenever you will. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The surrendered heart no longer prays for change, it prays for alignment." You begin to seek not the outcome but the state that pleases Him most, contentment. The soul that surrenders stops asking for signs and starts becoming one. Your calm becomes the evidence of faith. Ibn Arabi said, "He who rests in decree becomes a reflection of the real." The one who trusts Allah's plan radiates a peace that confuses the impatient. Waiting becomes worship, surrender becomes song, and silence becomes certainty. When surrender enters, time loses power. The believer no longer fears the future because he lives in the present where Allah resides. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The moment you stop rushing, eternity reveals itself." Waiting becomes timeless. Every second becomes sacred because every second holds Him. That awareness turns patience into paradise. The ego hates surrender because it demands control to survive. But the soul craves it, for surrender is freedom. Ibn Arabi said, "The ego dies in surrender, but the heart is born." Every moment you release your expectations, you resurrect your peace. What was heavy becomes holy. What was delayed becomes divine. When the soul surrenders, it no longer measures worth by progress. It sees meaning in pauses, blessings in slowness, mercy in uncertainty. Ibn Arabi wrote, "The one who trusts no longer counts days." The measure of faith shifts from how fast life moves to how deeply the heart remembers. That remembrance is the real arrival. Surrender doesn't change the outer world. It transforms your inner world. The delay may remain, but the struggle disappears. Ibn Arabi said, "He who surrenders still waits, but no longer suffers." The pain of waiting comes not from time, but from resistance. Once you let go, even waiting becomes light, a breeze carried by belief. Many confuse surrender with apathy, but it is the opposite. It is full awareness, without anxiety. The Sufi moves, works, and prays, yet his heart is still. Ibn Arabi wrote, "To act with surrender is to move without burden." You still do your part, but you stop trying to play Allah's. The energy once wasted on worry turns into worship. Surrender is where faith becomes sight. The unseen starts to unfold not because you forced it, but because you became ready to perceive it. Ibn Arabi said, "The surrendered heart sees the answer before it appears." When you stop clinging to your version of how life should be, you finally recognize that everything already is as it should. To surrender is to trust that what leaves was never meant, and what stays is enough. Ibn Arabi wrote, "He who surrenders stops grieving over the temporary. The one anchored in divine will no longer mourns what delays, he celebrates what remains." That acceptance turns waiting into gratitude, and gratitude into continuous worship. The wait ends when the heart stops demanding closure. Ibn Arabi said, "The end of the wait is the end of want." When you no longer chase completion through creation, you find it in the Creator. That moment of realization ends all inner waiting, even if nothing in your life changes. Everything inside you does. Surrender births serenity that no timeline can touch. You become untouchable by disappointment because you expect nothing but His wisdom. Ibn Arabi wrote, The surrendered sleeps in storms. What once caused panic now brings peace. You see Allah's perfection in what was once called delay. The wait ends because the war within ends. The Sufi who surrenders walks lighter. His dua still exists, but it no longer weighs him down. Ibn Arabi said, "To surrender is to travel with nothing but trust." His heart carries no timelines, only remembrance. He no longer asks when he simply walks with awareness, knowing that every step unfolds by divine permission. In the end, the wait does not end with arrival. It ends with awakening. Ibn Arabi wrote, "When the soul bows, the veil lifts." The moment you surrender, you stop waiting for the world to change because you've changed. What was heavy becomes sacred. What was delayed becomes divine timing. The wait ends not in time, but in trust when your soul finally whispers, "I am content with what Allah has written." When Allah delays, He is not denying you, He is shaping you. The wait is not wasted time, it is sacred construction. He is building your patience, deepening your faith, and softening your heart until you are finally able to receive what He's written for you without it destroying you. Ibn Arabi said, "Between the desire and the decree lies the making of the soul. Every unanswered prayer, every quiet night of uncertainty, every tear that falls in sujood, all of it is being gathered by the one who never forgets." One day, when the door finally opens, you will look back and understand why it had to be this way. You'll see that the waiting was not a punishment. It was the process of becoming. The blessing was never late. It was waiting for your heart to be ready. So tonight, do not despair. Allah is not silent. He is working behind the unseen, and when the time comes, you will realize the delay was the most beautiful part of the plan.